Hi guys, Asian Movie Recaps here. Today, we'll be recapping another fantastic film. In the meantime, please like and subscribe to our channel so that we may continue to provide movie recaps with plot twists and intriguing storylines. It may only take a few seconds for you, but it allows us to upload daily videos as soon as possible. Let's get started. When a young widow finds her passions reignited by a handsome suitor, fate may have another twist in store for her. A woman returns home late. Her husband asks why she is returning that late and she says she had a lesson out of town and there was traffic. He says she always has an excuse ready, and he asks her to sit down with him, but she says she has an early class the next day. He tells her to stop pretending that he already knows and she turns to leave. He gets up and asks her who he is. He hits her with a tennis bat and keeps hitting her. Their daughter, Yo-jin, comes out and stops him, but he slaps her and she falls. Then he goes to her and helps her up. She cries and asks what is happening to him. The woman comes out holding a knife, but she holds her mother and stops her. She lectures her class with a bruised face and split lip. She goes to pick up Yo-jin and her daughter tells her that if she truly cheated on her father then they should get divorced. She says when she is assigned the desk she will get her husband hospitalized. Yo-jin asks if she isn't tired of hoping she gets the desk. Her mother assures her that this time, it's safe. Yo-jin brings out a bottle of pills and her mother is shocked. She tells her mother that she knows they are sleeping pills, and she also says that she knows what is in the bottle under the sink. She asks her mother to make a promise that no matter what happens, she won't leave her. They get home and meet her father asleep in the living room. The next day at lunch, Yo-jin is sitting with her friend, Se-yeon. Yo-jin has a split lip and she suddenly asks her friend if she has ever slept with a man. She tells Se-yeon that she had slept with her father. Se-yeon is shocked and Yo-jin explains that whenever her father is drunk, he can't distinguish her from her mother. She says that she is scared every night. She adds that her mother knows but she pretends not to. She claims her mother will pay her someday. Se-yeon advises her to go to the police and volunteers to accompany her, but she says not yet. Jae-young drives Yo-jin to school and then she slaps her. She says Se-yeon came to see her and asks Yo-jin why she lied. She asks Yo-jin if she is crazy and Yo-jin says yes, and with this, she can do what she wants. Jae-young drives off and she tells Yo-jin that she feels it will be over soon but she doesn't know how. That night, Yo-jin is sitting with her father. She tells him that her mother still loves him and he admits that he loves her too. She asks why they keep fighting then and he says it is because he doesn't know how to love. She says they should consider her as she is still too young and he apologizes. Jae-young is seen with a man who tells her that her daughter was not chosen. She says she has been training her for 10 years and she asks the reason for that decision. He reluctantly tells her that it's because of her family background. When she returns home, she sits with her husband and asks to drink with him. He tells her he still loves her and she says she once loved him. He throws his drink on her face and she throws a glass cup at him but it misses. He laughs and gets to his feet. He screams at her and there is commotion and everything quiets down. The next morning, she wakes up with blood all over her head and body and her husband is lying dead on the couch. She turns and then screams. His death is in the news and it is also discovered that after his death, Yo-jin had tried to commit suicide. Yo-jin wakes up and asks for her father. When she is told that he is dead, she cries and apologizes. She says she thought Jae-young was dead and she couldn't live alone with him. She had swapped his alcohol with the drink that was under the sink and then taken sleeping pills. She is arrested but then Jae-young lies to get her out. She tells the police that her father abused her sexually. Then she is released. 3 years later, they are celebrating Jae-young's achievements at work. She goes to fuel her new car and the attendant insists that she shouldn't drive since she has had a few drinks. He drives them home and Yo-jin thanks him with flowers. At work, Jae-young gets a proposal from her colleague, Professor Song. She agrees to marry him if he aces her test. Professor Song scores an A+ on the test. Jae-young tells her friend Mi-seon that his answers were flawless. Mi-seon asks if she will marry him and she says how can she marry again. Mi-seon asks if it is because of Yo-jin and Jae-young pulls out her phone and calls her daughter. Mi-seon and Yo-jin are sitting at a table. Mi-seon points Professor Song out and tells Yo-jin about the proposal. She tells Yo-jin to keep it a secret that she knows. Yo-jin asks her mother about the proposal. She tells her mother to live her life and stop worrying about her. Her mother says she'll stop when Yo-jin goes to university. Yo-jin tells her mother that she has to get to know him if he will be her stepfather and she invites her to go meet him the next day. On their way they stop by a gas station. Jae-young tells her daughter that Professor Song lost his wife in a car accident abroad. She says Professor Song lives in a world by himself just like her father. She points out the attendant, Dong-ha from the night before and tells Yeojin that he is the one she would like to marry. The man leads Yeojin inside his house. He tells her that Jae-young won't marry him if she disagrees. She sees that he kept the flower she had given him. On their way back home, she tells her mother that she prefers Professor Song. Her mother tries to convince him to give it a second thought, but she storms out of the car and walks away. Jae-young drives back to the station and ends things with Dong-ha. She is sad and cries. Yeojin apologizes to her mother. She tells her to marry him if she loves him. She also says that she wants to go and live on her own. Jae-young ends the conversation and tells her to go to sleep. Yeojin goes to meet Dong-ha. She tells him that her mother has a way of making the people she loves feel alone. She says if he can handle that, then they can get married. They get married and Jae-young asks her new husband if he wants a child with her. Jae-young is busy with work and asks Dong-ha to pick Yeojin up instead. When he gets there, he is told that she stopped attending there a long time ago. He tells Jae-young to spend more time with Yeojin. The next day, he asks Yeojin if they should skip school and just hang out. He tells her that he knows she stopped her lessons. He asks how she spends her days and they spend the day together. He tells Yeojin to find the courage to tell her mother. Dong-ha tells Yeojin that he is worried about Yeojin. He tells Dong-ha to spend time with Yeojin and get help for her. He says she has been through a lot, but Jae-young says she is a strong girl and they need to move on from the past. Yeojin overhears this exchange. One night, they have dinner with Jae-young and her friends. Dong-ha notices that Yeojin isn't feeling well and they sit outside. When Jae-young notices their absence, she goes to them, and when she finds out Yeojin is ill, she tells them to go home. She says she wants to go out drinking with her friends and she'll be back later. The next morning, Jae-young tries to make Yeojin go to school, but Dong-ha stops her. He tells her Yeojin is sick, but she says an aspirin will help her feel better. Dong-ha gets a call from Yeojin. Her voice is weak. He searches for her and finds her. She is very sick and has a high fever. He takes her home. In the car, she tells him that she fell in love, but it's a difficult one. When they get home, she tells her mother the same thing. Jae-young asks Dong-ha if he knows who Yeojin fell in love with. Jae-young starts to feel like a third wheel. Dong-ha catches Yeojin sniffing his clothes. One night, Yeojin comes out and announces that she dropped out of school. She says she is sorry. Jae-young asks why, and she says the other kids recognize her and the crime she committed. Her mother tells her to forget about it and move on. She says she has tried her best. Yeojin asks to move out. She says it's for her mother's sake, but Jae-young refuses. Jae-young calls Dong-ha and begs him to stop Yeojin from leaving. He rushes home and sees Yeojin packing. He tries to stop her and she says she is leaving because she loves him. She asks if he loves her even a little. He doesn't answer and she turns to leave. Dong-ha pulls her back and kisses her. Then he makes love to her. When they are finished, Dong-ha lays there crying. At dinner, everyone is sad. After dinner, Jae-young asks Dong-ha if he knows why Yeojin wants to leave. He tells her that she should always remember that he loves her. After Jae-young has left for work, Yeojin goes to meet Dong-ha and they make love again. Jae-young tries to call them, but they don't pick up their phones. She tells Mi-seon that Yeojin is making her concerned. She says she still thinks about her father. Mi-seon asks her if Yeojin's father had truly raped her. Jae-young doesn't respond. Yeojin and Jae-young are out. Jae-young asks Yeojin if she would like to study abroad. Yeojin agrees and asks her to send her to a distant country as soon as possible. The next morning, Jae-young suggests going on a trip and Yeojin and Dong-ha agree and tell her to make the necessary arrangements. As she drives to work, Jae-young wants to call, but she changes her mind and turns around and drives back home. She walks in and sees them. Yeojin sees her and Jae-young faints. Jae-young cries and screams at Dong-ha and accuses him of taking advantage of her daughter. She picks up her phone, but Yeojin tells her to put it down. She claims that she and Dong-ha are in love. Jae-young slaps her and she just says she is sorry. Jae-young tells Yeojin to leave. She says that Dong-ha is her husband and Yeojin should find her own, but Yeojin doesn't move. Then she asks Dong-ha to choose who he wants. Yeojin and Jae-young are sitting in their rooms and Dong-ha walks to the passageway and then stops and walks away. After her class, Jae-young drives around for hours. Dong-ha asks where she is and asks to meet. She says she doesn't know where she is and says that she is scared of what will happen between him and Yeojin. She stops in front of the service station but tells him not to come close. She says she understands now why Yeojin was against their marriage and why she wanted to leave. Dong-ha tells her that he really loved her and she asks what about Yeojin. He says he loves her too in a different way. Jae-young tells him that she would love to fight for him but not with her daughter. She asks him to promise insists that he will take care of Yojin, but he tells her not to go and that he will leave instead. She drives off. She leaves a letter for Yojin apologizing for not loving her the way she should have. Jae Young dies and is buried. 3 years later, Yojin and Dong-ha are not happy together. Yojin loves someone else her age. Was Jae Young to blame for all that transpired, or was she just the victim? Let us know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. What do you think about this movie? Share your opinion with us in the comments section below. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications for our daily uploads. See you in the next videos and thanks for your support.